Friends, in this video, I'm going to give you a roundup of the latest immigration news that happened this past week. If you're interested in hearing about all of the things that have been going on with immigration this week, stay tuned, watch this video. And also, if you like this format, guys, if you like this type of content, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment below that you like this and you want to see more videos just like this one. Before I get into it, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this community. If you have not yet subscribed to McBean Immigration TV, go ahead, do so right now. And certainly follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and stay plugged into everything that I'm putting out there. Now let's get into it. A couple of things. The first topic I want to talk about is actually, in my view, the most important subject, and it's about the merit-based system that President Trump announced on Tuesday at the White House in the Rose Garden, in which he says that he wants to create a very strong merit-based immigration act. And so what he is really talking about here is another executive order. Yes, friends, it is that easy. It is that easy, right? At the stroke of a pen, the president is really trying to change, or is changing, I should say, U.S. immigration laws. And so what he is proposing here is a way to sidestep Congress, go around the laws, right, and our regulations that has created a family-based system. And we also have an employment-based system and a humanitarian system as well. But what President Trump is talking about here is a system based on a person's achievement. A person who is outside of the United States trying to come in would be judged based on his or her achievement, education, income, all of that. Why? Because the intent is to bring in, right, from their standpoint, the best and the brightest into America. And so they're trying to get around the family-based system. So President Trump said at the Rose Garden that we are going to be signing an immigration act very soon. It is going to be based on merit. It is going to be very strong. Now, we have not seen this yet. It hasn't come out. We're watching, and certainly there are rumors circulating as far as what's going to be in it, but let's just take it one step at a time and let's just wait and see how they actually structure this executive order. We know, however, from the other executive orders that he has out there, that this one is going to be painful as well, because family unity is no longer the priority of U.S. immigration in our system. The policies are not geared towards keeping families together anymore. And in fact, on the campaign trail, for those of you who had been following things 4 years ago, President Trump talked about this, right? This is his dream. He wants to have a merit-based system. I sometimes sit back and I say to myself, my God, is it really that easy for him to do this? And so certainly there's a lot of pushback for a lot of things that he has put in place and are attempting to put in place. There's litigation going on, a lot of advocacy fighting against the things that he's doing. And so the fight continues. So that's one of the major things that he announced this week. The second is related to DACA, guys, DACA. And so a few things I want to share about DACA. Let's start with the good news first. The good news is that a federal judge ruled that the administration or the government can begin to accept new applications, new DACA applications. And so this is huge because there are some people who fit the criteria for DACA, but they lost the opportunity to apply when President Trump came into office because he tried to shut down the program, and he has been unsuccessful with respect to doing so. So the Supreme Court ruled recently on the side of DACA recipients, and then the Trump administration pushed back and they were not accepting new applications. But then a federal judge ruled in the District of Maryland, actually the U.S. District Court for the District of Maryland on Friday. They restored the program to its pre-September 5th, 2017 status, meaning the status quo before Donald Trump tried to terminate it thereby giving hundreds of thousands of DACA eligible immigrants the opportunity to apply. So this is huge for a lot of people, and even some of my clients actually will benefit from this as well. And so if you meet the criteria for DACA, guys, and I'm not going to go into all of that in this news video, but if you meet the criteria for DACA, go ahead and apply, because now is the opportunity to do so while the program is still in place, and number two, while the government is accepting new applications. So go ahead and do that. On a side note, with respect to DACA, Trump, in the same Rose Garden press conference, he also mentioned DACA, but it was kind of strange. It took a lot of us by surprise. We were like, what? What did he say? What is he talking about? And here's what he said, guys, that were so bizarre. He said, we are going to work on DACA because we want to make people happy. And I will tell you, even conservative Republicans want to see something happen with DACA. He then later went on to talk about the fact that he wants to create an opportunity for DACA recipients to have a pathway to citizenship. And so in your mind, you might be thinking, that sounds like amnesty. But they immediately shot it down. His administration said, oh, no, we're not. The president isn't talking about amnesty for DACA, recipients. No. He's just talking about a pathway to citizenship. So what in the world, right? What in the world? So we're going to see what he actually means by that. And so that was an interesting thing here. President Trump says that Democrats had their chance for 3 years to do something with DACA. They always turned it down. They're using it as some sort of political tool, right? But how is he using it? Well, he says, I'm using it to get something done. But we will be signing a very powerful immigration act. It will be great. It will be merit-based, and the country has tried to get it for 25 or 30 years. So I don't know what act he's actually referring to, because the last time I checked, Congress legislators on Capitol Hill are the ones empowered to create an act. Let's see what the president comes up with. What else is going on this week? Well, earlier in the week, I also did a video to let you guys know that the embassies around the world are starting to reopen. There's really no specific dates yet, but the State Department issued their statement. Go back and watch that video. I'm going to link to it here so that you can get more details about how the whole thing's going to work. But in essence, it's great news, the fact that these U.S. embassies are starting to reopen and to, again, process visa applications for interviews and such for those who are seeking both an immigrant and a non-immigrant visa. So go back, watch that video. I'm going to link to it here, as I've mentioned. So that's good news. Now, by the way, I do read your comments, and I do see that some of you are saying, well, my embassy is actually going to open up in October. That's what the website is saying, or that's what they said when I called. And so, friends, every embassy, according to the State Department, they're going to take it on a post-by-post basis. It's not going to be, this one swoop thing where everybody is just open on August 1st, 2020. It really depends. And so just check your embassy website and even give them a call if you're successful at getting through to them. Well, another thing, friends, that was interesting is the fact that the House Appropriations Committee passed the Homeland Security Fiscal Year 2021 funding bill. It was purely party line, right? In this committee, it was a 30-22 vote here, and it would set aside over $50 billion in discretionary funding for DHS, that's the Department of Homeland Security, and its agencies. And then they also added $5 billion for disaster emergency relief. USCIS would receive $183 million, which is an increase over $51 million from fiscal year 2020. And so I want you guys to understand that this issue, the funding bill here, was highly contentious on Capitol Hill, because you had some legislators who were saying we should make the funding contingent to DHS doing certain things differently, right? They're treating people in detention in a horrible way, right? And so they need to correct some of the wrongs that they have out there, and the way that they're mistreating people. And with respect to detention, those who are detained and such. And so there was this back and forth. This is highly debatable, what's going on here with respect to DHS budget. But this is different from the bailout request that USCIS still has on the table, guys. And I've been talking a lot about that one, that $1.2 billion bailout, which would avoid the furlough, right? USCIS is saying that they're going to start furloughing their people as of August 3rd if they do not receive the bailout money. I did a video which updated you guys on a new bill that has been proposed or introduced on the House side that would take care of this $1.2 billion bailout request. Not a whole lot of support for that bill, but I also talked about some things that's happening on the Senate side, in which there really is a more bipartisan group of senators who are really pushing for the bailout funding, but the bailout dollars, friends, would actually be incorporated in the next coronavirus stimulus package, which Congress is debating it, and the Senate is coming back in a couple of days from their recess, and so the expectation is that that next coronavirus bill will be voted on at the end of July. So we're watching to see what's going to happen with that bailout issue, but as of the filming of today's video, the furlough action is still very much in place. Now, let's see, what else do you guys need to know about? Let's end this on a good note. Biometric centers, guys, are opening. They are reopening. And let's see, I want to provide a little bit of details to you in this one, and I may very well do a separate video touching on this issue, but as you guys know, in mid-March, everything shut down, everything, including these application support centers around the US, and at those centers, that's where folks would go in and get their fingerprint done so that the government can do a background check on them. And so these centers have been closed since mid-March. And so now it's so exciting to know that they are reopening. And if you go on USCIS's website, and I'm going to pull it up right here, but they have a nice little page here called USCIS Office Closings. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll then see application support centers. As you can see, you can pull it up by state or office, city, obviously, and figure out when the nearest application support center in your area will reopen. And so for New York, it's exciting because here in New York, for those of you who are from Brooklyn, Brooklyn is in the house. That center reopened on July 13th, and people have already started to receive their appointment notices to go in and do fingerprints. So Brooklyn folks, I'm starting with you first. July 13th, the application support center reopened. Now, the rest of New York will see their center reopen on July 20th. July 20th, the Long Island City Center, the Manhattan, the Portchester, the Queens Jamaica Center, Bronx, and Hauppauge, right? Hauppauge will reopen on July 20th. And then, you know, guys, you need to note that it depends on the city, right? Again, if you look at Florida here, you'll see that Florida, they're looking at July 20th. The Fort Lauderdale Center is going to open on July 20th. Whereas the Fort Myers will open on July 27th. So just be aware that it could be a little different. You may have different dates in your state, all right? So those are some of the things that happened this week, guys. I mean, certainly there's a lot still going on with the border, and people are still being held outside of the U.S. A lot of closures, border closures, Canada and U.S. They've extended their limited border crossing policy. And so people are not really free these days to move about the world, at least not free to come into the US and to go into other countries. So friends, I hope you found this roundup helpful to you. Again, go ahead, comment below, give me a thumbs up if you like this type of format and you'd like to see more of these weekly news roundups. Friends, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.